Okay, hello people. This is Allen Zhang recording his first or my first, um, I guess, sealed league. So today we're doing a Kaladesh competitive sealed league. I will be recording um, from deck construction until the end. This is a previous league. Didn't do very well. Had an awful pool and just drew awfully. But hopefully this time will change. Okay, so this is our pool. Generally on Moto, the first thing I like to do is just to see what rares we've got and potential bombs we might get. Alright, so Wilder Streams, Toolcraft Exemplar, Padim, Avia, Cabal, and Dynavolt Tower. Now, none of these rares is particularly exciting. Um, Arvea is very good in late game, and Cabal is quite good as well. I'm sort of 50-50 on Water Streams, although it is a great end game finisher. Dynavolt Tower is okay in some decks. And obviously, Pardim and Toolcraft Exemplar are just meh curve fillers. Pardim can be quite good um, if we do happen to have the insane artifact deck. Now I like to generally pull down playables that I think are very good. Ooh, some very exciting uncommons. Um, Alright, white. I'm 50-50 on the ninth bridge patrol. Depending on if we really need a curve filler or not. Two graph example. Well, almost all of our white cards are playable, and at least on par. Um, I don't mind field inspection, but I don't like to play it in the main deck. Um, Now it's good to take notice of like our energy makers as well. So like Thriving Turtle, and Ether Meltdown. These things are something just to consider once we get to the decision portion. Um, Diabolic Tutor is an interesting card. It's a little better in limited than it is sorry in sealed than it is in draft. Um, Still not the greatest. I tend to take out. I generally don't want to play more than two of each of these spells, even though it's sometimes healthy to board in the third subtle strike. Um, if you really need to. Um, all right. So red, we've got triple hijack, which is interesting, but it's not anything to write home about. Double welding sparks is probably the only exciting thing about red. Although welding sparks, I found has been extremely splashable. So if we do have any good mana fixes, we can definitely think about going through it. Uh, Core Prowler is something I just put aside unless there's really a filler spot that needs to be put in. Ooh, so our green seems really good in terms of when the tune as well. Our green seems really good as well, although we do have two really good gold cards in black and white. Our playable, we've got a Renegade Fighter, which is really good. It basically fits into any deck. Similarly with Foundry Inspector, it obviously scales up if we play more like Bastion Mastodons and whatnot. I generally like to have a Sky Skiff in my deck as well, although it's gone down on on my rankings recently. So generally with the sealed format, it does get very grindy towards the later end, and it's very difficult to build a very aggressive deck. Um, Now we're going to explore obviously all the building opportunities, and I think our strongest color combination would be white and green, with no 4 drops though, which is a bit sad. Is there anything we can possibly add? Well, green definitely is the strongest color, in my opinion, in limited for this format. Um, and our green does look rather powerful with triple thriving Rhino, plus 2 very effective removal. Ideally we want to splash a third color. Now looking at our splashable cards, or we can splash, or cards we can use to splash, we don't actually need. Well, I'm not sure if we do need to splash a third color. It does make our deck relatively removal light, but with Servant of the Conduit and Attune with Aether, um, I would like to add um, a third color. Well, a lot of the time I'm with Aether Hub, obviously. Alrighty. So this is definitely the strongest color combination out of the two. I can see myself boarding into a black green deck. If we do find ourselves playing against a lot of small creatures. Um, hmm. I really like to fit Sky Skiff and Renegade Freighter, sorry. I keep calling it Fighter because it's a really good song by a New Zealand band that I really enjoy listening to. Alright, so if we add these, it puts our card count to 24. Um, Eddie Trail Hawk is particularly good in this type of decks because it adds a lot of evasion to the fatties that we might have. Um, if I want to get particularly greedy, we can go into this running 22 lands with an Aether Hub and add the 2 Welding Sparks and then cut 1 more card. This is particularly greedy, but it is very Welding Sparks is really good with or without um like a great deal of artifacts. And I tend to lead to a slightly greedier build or greedier deck when I'm playing sealed because I want to maximize the power of the deck over the over the consistency a little bit without hindering it too much. And I think Attune with Aether, Serving the Conduit, and Aether Hub, we can play with a relatively low curve. We can definitely play something like this. Um, is it better to splash black? Probably not. Well, at the moment, I'm still debating over. Like, I like everybody's input on whether I should play Dynavolt Tower as well as the Bastion Mastodons. Like, you can play the Bastion Mastodons and not play the Welding Sparks and have a better endgame finisher, but we've already got Wildest Dreams, which is really good. Plus, Triple Thriving Rhino makes this deck quite aggressive. Also, again, Avea is a very good late game finisher as well. Um, I like this build. We can definitely save it and then see if there's anything else. So generally, I like to build one or two decks before um, I start, just to explore my options. So this is green, white, red, splash. Um, so I like to add a new deck. Okay. Okay, so this allows us to just have a look at um, other possible options. I wonder how long this video has been recording for. 11 minutes. All right. I'm gonna get to about 20 minutes. So, I think the core color can be varied. Now, there's another way of building that deck that I think is quite possible. Now, this might be a bit different, but while I was thinking through that last build, this is the other build that I came up with. I was just going through my head. Like this one wants to maximize the number of artifacts by playing um, as much as we can. Now, because the format's relatively grindy, we can capitalize the amount of energy that we gain. Because I'm donors, we have Eddie Trail Hawk, Seven the Conduit, and Sage, as well as sorry, the module, which is here. Where's that module? Did I add into the deck? Yes, I did. Yep. So Decoction module. So this is a really interesting combination. It allows us to activate Dynavolt Tower um, relatively early, but it tends to lean us into a more defensive deck, which means that we'll be needing to play dudes with bigger butts to, I guess, keep us alive. Um, Again, I don't think I want to play um, a black green, or do I? I think a black green deck might be better in this version because first of all, black green adds um, a lot of resistance, and it gives us some 4 drops, which is nice to have. Also, subtle strikes, so we can play the maximum amount, I think. Probably not. See, now with this deck, we'll take out this one here. It's a more interesting deck. I think it's less, like less effective. But it's definitely a interesting way of building it. So you got Dynavolt Tower, Foundry Inspector obviously makes Dynavolt Tower, Renegade Fighter, and Sky Skiff a bit better. Um, it's probably the first card I would cut. Here or the club security. Although we do need a 4 drop to fill the slot. Um, so this gives us a more grindier late game deck compared to the green, white, red one. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's strictly worse. It's definitely uh less. Definitely has less I guess aggression compared to the other one. And I don't like to play black without at least a couple of like hard removal and stuff like that. But it's definitely something interesting to think about. Um, The other way to build is probably black-white, which allows us to play Cabal and Restoration Gearsmith. Um, I guess I'll lay it out and see if it's better. Um, but I definitely like green in these colors, and I can always bring in Dynavolt Tower and Decoction Module for the other deck. Although the curve for the black white looks really good as well. Just clicking a couple of cards in. I guess I don't have to play Toolcraft Exemplar. The deck doesn't really want Toolcraft Exemplar. Mechanic. The Hawk. We can play double Mastodon or Renegade Fighter. Now this looks like a very good deck as well. Although I still think the power level of Triple Thriving Rhino and Arborback Stomper and Wildest Dreams is much better. Sorry, and Avea is much better. I guess I don't have to save any of these decks because there's nothing more to go through. I'm gonna keep this league opened um, for 2 days. So I'm not going to play anything from this league up until the 6th to see if anybody wants to play to put any input into this league. Um, and hopefully the card pool is big enough for people to look at before we go into anything. So I think this is a really good sealed exercise. I've just basically built one deck. If you like, I would like you guys to submit your own builds before I start anything. I'm obviously in a hurry to do anything with this account, so if you guys want, I'm going to put a submission time, so 48 hours from now. So now it's 5:57 Australian Eastern Standard Time, November the 11th. Sorry, November the 4th. Oof. This is quite late for me, obviously. Um, but please let me know how you would build this pool. Um, and yeah, cheers. Hopefully, this is an interesting and more productive sealed exercise for everyone compared to just me playing along.